Well, it's difficult to read Trump's mind. All we can go by is both his public statements and his related diplomatic and tariff negotiating strategies with other countries and other blocs. As I mentioned, either the recently agreed to U.S. Pakistan agreement, again, we're waiting for the actual details to come out on that. The major agreements with the European Union, with Japan, with South Korea, with Vietnam, and the inability of the Trump administration to secure a deal with India, I think has been very frustrating for President Trump, for Treasury Secretary Bessent, for the Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, for Stephen Miller, the Deputy Chief of Staff. I don't know, however, that their sense of potentially browbeating such a major economic and geopolitical power as India is the right way to bring Prime Minister Modi and his government to the table to hammer out an agreement that is good for both sides, because ultimately it has to work for both Washington and for New Delhi. And I'm not sure that's going to be successful right now. And I think also President Trump has to be mindful that China and Russia are very closely watching this U.S. India relationship play out in the midst of all of this public social media drama. And it's very interesting that China, which really has been buying as much oil as India has from Russia, has not received this kind of opprobrium in social media or from Trump's staff. It's been reserved almost exclusively for India right now. And of course, there's the reality, and I think this has been very frustrating both for the prior administration under President Biden and increasingly under the Trump administration, that Russia is not only a nuclear superpower, it is also a commodity superpower. And that gives it enormous leverage to be able to withstand U.S. financial sanctions, a whole host of EU sanctions, and to be able to leverage its command over large portions of almost every strategic reserve, given its vast territory, 1/8 of the world's landmass, and able to continue to conduct major trade negotiations and relations with India, with Turkey, with so many countries in South Asia, almost all of Africa, almost all of Latin America. Almost all of these countries have largely chosen to reject the U.S. and EU-led sanctions regime. I think the degree to which President Trump has been increasingly frustrated by Vladimir Putin's offensive against Ukraine and Putin's unwillingness or disinterest in coming to the negotiating table anytime soon may be somewhat problematic for the Trump administration, and they're looking to take it out on other countries that either will suffer directly or perhaps even maybe the idea being that Prime Minister Modi will lean on President Putin to come to the table, even to conduct some type of talks with Ukrainian President Zelensky and ease President Trump's threats against India and other countries for continuing to buy natural resources and other valuable commodities from the commodity superpower that is Russia.